Hey everyone, welcome back. I wanted to give an update on my ULTY analysis and what I'm looking at now. Obviously, the last few weeks have been kind of rough for ULTY, so I wanted to see where we're at with it. Um, so let's get started. Disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor. Contents of this YouTube channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Should not be construed as professional financial advice. Please seek a professional if you need advice. I'm just giving my thoughts on my portfolio, um, and I appreciate all the comments from my last ULTY analysis. It is helpful to keep me going and also to just hear what everybody has to say. A lot of haters out there for ULTY, which I understand. But anyway, um, there was a few people too, I guess, that still hold ULTY and are, there with me. So anyway, let's dive in. Looking here at my spreadsheet, I have made a couple updates, and a couple people commented that they are interested in this. But like I said, right now I'm still adding and subtracting and modifying it. So once I get it to a point where I'm comfortable and it settles down, I'll walk through more of the details of what's in this, and also potentially can share it out for people to use if they want. Added this cool little chart thing in here. This is just charting the dividend payments that I've received so far. So hopefully, they'll all keep going up. But obviously, some I'm looking at you, Ulti, are going down, and obviously, chart is so small you can't do anything with it, but it's just kind of cool to see. Also, put in here a market daily change, just to give me this is a percentage, just to see what things are doing. Ulti's down 1.6% today. Bitcoin's down again. All the Bitcoin ETF that I have. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all that. So Ulti, let's talk about that. So today they announced a 6.26, I think it was, cent distribution, which is the lowest maybe ever, but it's lowest in quite some time. And when I bought into Ulti 2 months ago, it seemed like it was fairly stable around 9 cent distribution. But what it's feeling like is it's really, when in a bull market where everything just keeps going up, it seems like Ulti is stable, and maintaining its distribution. However, when the market is, in a correction or a pullback, I don't know if you can call this correction, but in a bit of a pullback or going down, it seems like it really struggles with that. And we've seen that because the last several distributions have gone down. So let's see. Where do I want to look? I want to look at multi scenarios. So I have not updated this, I think, since my last video. I should say I've updated it. However, I have not changed the start date for it. So on 9/23, the dividend was 9 cents, or around 9 cents. And back then, at that point, I had 254 shares. So I got 22.85 in dividends, which then gained me four more shares by dripping that dividend, which again, you'll see here, added here. So this analysis here is basically saying over time, over the next several weeks, with Ulti changing between its dividend and its current stock price, what will happen. So at the time, it was worth $1,417. And this was, again, 9/23, which was, I don't know, several weeks ago. So back then I did the analysis and I said, okay, even if the dividend, well, obviously, if the dividend increases and the stock price increases, overall, my net gain is going to go up. Same thing if the stock price increases, but the dividend decreases. In general, my overall profit, my overall yield, return on this investment is still going to go up. Again, some of those depend on the numbers. You can really change the numbers to make these not, stock price drops significantly, you're going to be buying more shares with your distribution. Um, and likewise, if the dividend payment goes up, but the stock price decreases, as long as the stock price decreasing isn't so drastic that it goes to zero. In general, these cases are all win-win scenarios, or winning scenarios. Um, I say this is the case if they both decrease, as long as they're both decreasing less than a 1.7% decrease, that overall I would still be making money by dripping those shares overall. Um, However, what we've seen is since 923, the stock price has declined and the dividend payment has dividend distribution, whatever you want to call it. They both declined over 2%. So I tried to line up these. So based on these are what controls the table down here. So the stock price has been down around 2.8% week over week since 923, and the dividend payment has declined roughly 2%. So you can see this over here is historical data that is pulled from Google Finance. And as of today, 11/11, the stock price is around 453 or 457. This was the close as of, I think, on 11/7. Um, so this calculation is fairly accurate where on 11/11 here we're showing 457, which lines up here. So you can see the stock price is declining around 2.8%, as I said. And then also the dividend is 9 cents and it's down to 7.8 cents. Now, the dividend is actually decreasing more than that because the dividend payment, like I said, was 6 point some cents. So it's really tracking down here where it should be in January if it fell at this rate. So if we change this to, let's say, 3%, maybe that's more accurate. Not even that. It's even higher than that. Let's say 3.5%. Now we're looking at, I mean, it's even higher than that, honestly. Not sure where we're going to get with that. Maybe around there. Okay. So if it drops 5% weekly, which again, that's just an average, but if it did that weekly, it puts us the week of 11/11 where we're at today, a dividend of 6.29 cents, which is fairly close to what they actually paid. So in that scenario, you can see that the total gain loss here with the drip, even on, it's all losing money and it's basically not good. Now you received obviously a lot of dividends, but we're reinvesting those. And with the stock price continuing to go down, it's just looking like there's no hope for it. It's a bad trade. So what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do? I'm probably going to end up selling ULTY. The last three dividend payments have just really been decreasing quite a bit. And again, it doesn't show any signs of being stable, and the stock price is going down. So unless this really stabilizes next week or goes up, I'm probably going to sell this. The other thing, well, I guess just to finish this. So um, yeah, so basically what we're looking at is right now the dividend payment's been decreasing about 5% per week from 923 and 2.8% stock price decrease. And that combination is no good. So again, overall, yeah, it's not looking real great, which, again, several people commented and said Ulti's trash. And I get that sentiment. Some people went as far as to say yield max isn't good either. But I think overall, yeah, this is convincing me I probably need to sell my shares of ULTY. And I'm not sure what I'm going to buy. I might just hold it for a little bit. The other thing is looking back here, I see the overall return in these columns here. ULTY, I'm down 10%. And obviously that includes, reinvesting the shares. Which is $142, which isn't that bad on my 1417 here cost basis. But really, this Guggenheim fund here is the only other one that's down 10%. Bitcoin obviously has really been struggling, so this BTCI has been struggling. That's down quite a bit as well. But I think overall that makes sense based on the underlying exposure that BTCI has to Bitcoin. And then Coney, it's like I've got $68 here, so I don't really care. I There's a long story of why I only invested $68 because I was putting together the sample portfolio for a much larger uh, portfolio account that I have instead of this 30,000. So this account that I have here, $30,000, is a rollover account that I've said before. So that is I don't want to say it's play money. It's still a lot of money, and it's real money. But it's I'm just trying this strategy out. So based on that, I only bought $63 worth of Coney, or $68. Sorry. Anyway, so there's some big losses here, but the market has been struggling. There's been some good recovery, but again, overall on the year, we're still doing great. So I think looking at Ulti where we're at and the way that it's been going, that's kind of my concern is, when I look here at even reinvesting the dividends to get me more shares, so hopefully get me more dividends each time, I can see here that, this last dividend column X here kind of, it it's a flag to say that, look, the dividends should be green like everybody else's here, but because uh, even the dividends that I'm getting and reinvesting aren't keeping up with the loss of dividends that I'm getting. So this is kind of one of the flags that I look at to say, okay, this might be a problem. And again, same here with Coney, but I got $68 in there, so not a big deal. These other ones, LFGY and GPTY, again, it's a little bit of a flag, but overall, GPTY is still up 4% overall for me. LFGY is down a little bit too, but again, I think that makes sense some with the underlying there. For Ulti, I guess maybe you could justify that as well with saying the underlying is, but it just looking at kind of the track record of Ulti, I don't know, it just doesn't look very good. So um, let's see. I don't know. I think that's about it. Again, any questions that you have in the comments, please let me know. I'll try and respond. Overall, my portfolio is still hanging in there and doing pretty good. $455 is my total return. It was up a lot higher, and depending on the day, it kind of fluctuates between. I think it was up $2,000 total, and I think the S&P. I think I had that pulled up here. Let's see. Yeah, so since around that same time, 9.5, 9.23, the S&P using SPY overall returns 5.5%, and QQQs are up 8.3%. So in the last couple months, they have been performing better than this overall, this portfolio. But you can see that there are several that are, Amazon, AMZY was doing good, PLTR is doing good, Nvidia is pretty good. And you see my SPY and QQQI here are doing pretty well as well, as good as well. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. Overall, again, this is trying to be more of a test for me to see if I like high income portfolio, or I like high income investing versus growth investing, or looking at other kinds of dividend stocks. Yeah, anyway, okay, I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on LT. If you're selling, if you're buying, still think it's trash, or if you're still holding, really curious to hear that, why you think that it's not doom and gloom. So I'll probably be selling this. I'll put out maybe a short, when I do, and then I will let you know in the next video what I end up buying with that, because I'm definitely going to replace this with something else. So thanks for tuning in. Bye.